Good afternoon, YouTube. What's going on? Weston Nelson here with Trading Nichols from the Crypto Cave. We are coming to you on Friday afternoon to wrap up the week and talk about some big crypto updates and information that you're probably going to want to be aware of as you head into the weekend and your evening. We're going to talk about the two big players, Bitcoin and Ethereum, as well as the Fantom ecosystem and what's going on there. And then some other updates as well. But as always, none of this is financial advice. Whatever we talk about in the Crypto Cave is for educational, informational purposes only. And with that being said, I know we do have a lot to get through. I'll turn it over to you, Trading Nichols. I know you want to jump right in with something, so take it away.
You might want to switch to my screen, though. You really want to start with me and my bears? Or you want to have your fluffy bullish position? All right, we'll start with the bears.
Yes, exactly. We'll let you be the bearer of bad news.
All right.
And
well, I've just found
out we kind of have an opposite outlook as to how things are. Well, I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah, it looks rough. All right. So the last time we were on this really nice bull from 50 to 60,000, it was getting pretty choppy. We created this neckline here. Some people call the neckline there. Different chartists draw it differently. Yes. But if you follow out this neckline, and I'll actually draw you a new neckline from something that Gareth Soloway said the other day.
It looks pretty bad, right?
He drew one like this, and he's a lot better at TA than me. So we might want to go from his perspective. Well, so in essence, this version of the neckline says that we pushed past that neckline to reject hard. Yeah. There was plenty of people ready to short this line again. And if you look at the 2017, if you look at the 2013 bull run, both of them did the same thing. They had one really big run up. They had a pullback and another bubble, which was like the fake out. So
okay. So where would we be headed to on the downside?
Well, potentially if this was the old markets repeating, it's just that, the old ones, it would have been something more like this, and this one was more like this. It's bigger, relatively speaking. We could head bound back into the low 40s, even the 30s again. I'm just,
sounds scary.
If we can't break above this, it's going to be a way to keep knocking us down. And Ethereum, and I apologies for having too many price buy actions. This makes more sense when I'm on the 1 hour and the 4 hour. If I look at Ethereum, I don't have nearly as much written in, and honestly, Ethereum looks a lot more bullish, except for going into the weekend and maybe the next couple
and
weeks.
Didn't we just have a chatter about that? So I'm turning off my alerts here. Someone was talking about how they've been just moving together so. What's the word? Correlated tightly, or
they are correlated. So while Ethereum is more bullish on a longer term and short term bearish, will it be able to resist if Bitcoin really has another collapse?
Well, I would imagine it would be affected personally. Yes, I think that's what you're getting at.
I was meant that to be more rhetoric, but thanks for answering a very hard question.
Yes. Okay, so basically, you are doom and gloom, and you think that Bitcoin is going to take a big fall. Where and did you talk about your support levels?
Not in a really specific way. Not when I could be more specific if you like. I was going to go over Fantom a little bit.
One really strong one, right?
This one right here. Well, on Ethereum, 3241 is a strong point that has held us up better than Bitcoin. Okay, so that's the next one there. The next one coming down, 2942. And then very little until 2646, and then very strong support again at 2350 for Ethereum. So if we really kept breaking down, those are the specific levels.
Okay. Well, obviously nobody knows the correct answer when it comes to crypto or any type of markets. You just can use past data points and try to forecast to be the most accurate. So
you want to hit the levels of Bitcoin before you give your perspective?
Yeah. I was just going to say, you're making a very sound case, and all your numbers from a technical. Yeah, I see the same thing.
On the upside for Bitcoin, we have to beat this old neckline here, which is slowly getting higher as time goes on, if it's considered like a trend line where we just pierced and rejected here. We technically are at another point of control on a local smaller level here and just below here. So there is some pressure. And by the way, one of these POCs is me manually drawing another strong point. It's not really where this tool is calling it.
I was just going to ask you that, actually. Okay, great.
Yeah, this top red line was me drawing it in because it's another point that keeps growing in strength. In fact, I can actually update it. I haven't updated it.
Do you want to explain what this is for people who may not know?
This is volume by price, and it might make more sense if I make it a little less chaos. Go down to the 4 hour. That's why I have these smaller ones, right? So this is the manual one I drew last night. And just above that, another POC is forming that we just broke below just now.
So POC, point of control again.
Point of control. It's a level that you need to see, are we going up or down off of? You don't use a POC to decide a direction. You use it as a point of control. Which way is it going to be controlled?
Where were there actual buyers and sellers in the market?
Yeah, we have to test it with actual buyers and sellers. Now, clearly we've pierced, but is it like this line where we jumped through and it created a hard rejection because a lot of people were ready to sell? Apparently, this zone, specifically here, fewer people here. Will this be another push through just to have liquidity and shoot on up and have an awesome hot weekend? Maybe, but more likely some correction in the next couple of days. And I think I've gone on enough. If people have that much attention span for my TA,
I think it's a good analysis. From a TA perspective, right? And using, I know that like for myself, I keep it TA. When we're talking TA, a little bit simpler, I guess, right? I just use EMAs and MACD. keep it very simple. I know Method was a community member in our Discord. Crypto Cave was just dropping some alpha in his charts about 0.618. What's the called again?
The Fibonacci number.
The golden ratio, the number, and just
is it 0.621?
It's 1.618 technically, but on the charts and how it flows into that, it's just fascinating how that continues to reinforce itself, but kind of to the point we were making. Well, when traders and firms are using that, it's actually just going to perpetuate itself probably even more, even if it is a natural phenomenon.
And it's more powerful than just what is. It's more powerful than just because people ever put it on their charts. It's actually a natural phenomenon in nature. You see it in beauty. You see it in plants. It was discovered in charts.
Exactly what I'm trying to get at. It's like according to that, but then again, that I guess to come full circle, there's many ways to look at things, and so I like to trade. I think this is why you say I prefer breakout trading, right? Because I like looking at just the moving average convergences, divergence. I like seeing buying pressure shifting, and to me, that's the easiest, simplest way to trade from a technical perspective. Now, we didn't talk timeline, so I'm going to agree with you. I think that we could be in for some shaky imminent future, but I am so bullish by end of October that I see Bitcoin hovering, near 100K, Ethereum probably a 2x, Fantom, my goodness, who knows, $5, $10, and then the coins that we've been covering in the Crypto Cave that have people gotten like crazy gains. Spell, which is abracadabra.money, which Tarot Finance. I'm trying to think. Popsicle, Ice, Scream, Spooky Swap, Spirit Swap, all these just gems that are like in the market caps, where you wouldn't believe it. They're going to be able to tag along for that ride. So, we got about 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and actually about a month until the catalyst that I see coming, transforming everything.
And honestly, I hope you're right. This could just be a correction on the way. I just, if you haven't taken any profits on the way up, not at all, that could be dangerous.
Oh, and I should say, do you know what I'm talking about? Did I already tell you why I feel this way?
Tell me why you feel bullish about a month out or so. I'm not sure.
That's probably important.
Yeah. I was like, okay, he's bullish.
I have a feeling. No. So there's something very important that is occurring in the United States, and that is a topic of discussion that has been on the table for a long time, which is an exchange-traded fund, an ETF approval.
My bullish feelings was blocking out the news in our pre-video chat. Yes, I hear you now. I'm sorry.
So what's due to come at the end of October, and I have to check on this again. It was either like the 15th or the 17th or 18th or 20th or something, but there will be a decision made on yay or nay, basically, on the first one, which I do believe is going to be a yes. I hope it's a yes. It feels like it'd be crazy at this point if they said no again. But more importantly, if you really think it through, there's, I think, 3 or 4 other major institutions that have their answers to be answered right after that within the next 10 days or so. So by November, early November, November 1, we could have 4 to 5 approved Bitcoin ETFs in the United States. And that would send the market into an absolute frenzy. That's the best word I can think of. It would be a frenzy. And I don't know if there's any way. I mean, now we're a month out from that. So likely what's going to happen is there's going to be probably a big shakeout where people are going to get smushed down. Lots of fear, uncertainty, doubt spread about crypto being useless and all this, garbage that you've been filling in your ears by people for a long time. But it's being adopted at a rapid pace. So you just have to look at reality, not what someone might be telling you. And don't get scared. Yeah. Or what'd you say?
Zoom out. Even if we do have a big correction, it could be a lot of institutional buddies that are like, hey, let's bring this market down so that when ETF is in here and our buddies can get in, they can shoot it back up after we've washed out all these other traders.
Yeah, that's actually precisely what I think is going to happen. So, and that could be a painful couple weeks, but at the end of the day, again, there are good low cap projects that you can be in right now. You can be doing yield farming that we talk about in the crypto cave, getting waking up to ridiculous amounts of tokens collected every morning on Fantom because of the low costs, the incredible opportunities that are available there. And I don't know if you wanted to dive into that too, because I know that you've really taken on DeFi like a pro. I don't know how to say it.
What were the DeFi guys? It's funny. We put up a DeFi den, in terms of the cave, and then I started documenting my journey and learning there. And then Weston's like, that was gonna be my channel.
Yeah. So now we're the DeFi guys, but we still have to put up the video of or did we already do that? I don't think we did that with the That name was
Oh, it's
given to
Steve,
us.
our AMA. Yes, I know. It's just we recorded it as an AMA together, and it didn't immediately go live, which is good because Weston's financials are like on there, and I'm like, Weston, I'm a good editor, but this is going to take a minute. So, more importantly, back on point to what you guys care about versus our internal struggles to get out a video. And we apologize for our members who are waiting, but I'm thinking about Fantom, and I'm thinking about DeFi. And remember when we went from like $1.70 to $1.30, and I borrowed
Yeah, I sure
Fantom
do.
on
Last
screen.
week. Yeah, it
I
was
went
painful.
heavy. I borrowed it hardcore
No, you did a
because
brilliant move.
and I turned it into stable coins.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it hit the bottom, I paid back my loan, and I made 25% that I'm aware of, but I think it was a lot more because of other Fantom loans I took.
You were yield
To
farming.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so like basically you got double benefit. You were
Yeah, and
correct on
so
a
my
short.
yield farm went
Yeah,
down. If you looked at the numbers of Fantom and Boo, they went down, I want to say 25%, but because of
I was
yield
gonna say
farming, I only
20%.
lost 12.
Yeah.
So I have 13% more of the tokens than I did before. Shorted it,
Mm-hmm.
bought even more. Um, to pick up even more. And if you think about me as a DeFi guy, I think that might be what they're doing with Bitcoin and Ethereum right now. They might be knocking it down so they can pick up even more of it.
Yeah, I mean, has that ever happened in any other type of markets like commodities, gold or silver? I mean, I don't know.
Thanks to watching
Does
Weld trades at the Crypto
does it
Cave,
does it still happen?
I've learned the patterns that they actually do it in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Not
Yeah.
every
So
time, but sometimes they shoot the market down, buy a bunch, shoot the
thank
market
you.
back up where it was, and then you see a much smaller amount of Bitcoin that has just left the exchanges.
So what Trey Nichols is talking about is in our community, the Crypto Cave on Discord, we have a real time. So part of it is basically right now two components: automated alerts, actionable alerts that'll help you with your trading, and then the community, which is to me more valuable. But you can use the alerts for trading, of course, to develop a strategy and whatnot. And we have whale alerts being sent in real time. So it gives you this perspective of the market that just after a little while you start to see, oh, like that's clearly what's happening, what we were just talking about. And it's like, I'm like, what? Look at all these longs going right here, these shorts, and it's like, oh, so people with a lot of assets are making a collective decision to move the price, and they will squash a bunch of people and then be able to buy back in lower. It's
And when they're
unfortunate.
doing it, if you watch the well trades, it becomes obvious. And when they do it, I don't trade it. It's too
I,
fast. It's too
right.
uncontrollable.
or,
Um,
or go with them, right?
well,
Follow.
you can, but when they do something that might just shoot down to come back up, I don't like to be involved with that
Oh
because
yeah, you don't want to get
it just
squashed on the way back up then either.
I'm one of the bugs they crush.
Yeah,
That's what I learned. That
exactly.
when they do that, I stay out of it. If you can push the buttons fast enough, you go for it. But I'm out when they play those games.
Yeah, so I just wanted to answer this question from a Michael Post. When do you think the SEC will provide some kind of guidance on their stance around crypto? So now there's a couple things, there's a couple components to that actually, but approving an ETF is pretty clear as to the direction of where things will be headed. Now, that's not the structural framework that I think that everybody is hoping for. So, it's going to be an evolving thing, especially as DeFi continues to just advance at just such an accelerating clip. It's like every day there's a new protocol, there's a new yield farm, a new place you can park your assets. So having our regulators come up with a fully fledged solution, I think, is a ways out. Probably always going to be adapting. But as far as regulatory clarity, if we have an ETF approved in mid to end October, to me, that is very positive for the crypto space, I would say. I mean, I don't see how the markets don't go like frenzy FOMO action.
I do have a recommendation for day traders of Bitcoin and Ethereum, though. While this happens, watch to see if the patterns you used to trade have changed. You have to forever be adapting. I had locked in this really strong pattern that I'd figured out, and I was making money off of it. And then for a few weeks, I was losing because I was trying to trade the old pattern. I was losing less because as I lose, I keep trading less and less. But that point, the point I'm making as far as like scalp trading is
Yes.
when the market changes, don't be afraid to stop hitting the buttons based on the reasons you hit them before. Things could change. The patterns
Adapt, you
could
mean?
change. If you're an investor, nothing changes. Dollar cost average in. Take profits when we've had a Matic move up. If you're a day trader, watch out when they come. The patterns of when and how the money move may be different, and if you see things behaving differently, take a step back and watch for a while before you play with it.
I love it. It's a wise words. Be adaptable. Always be learning, changing. Right. I think. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So here is the chart that I have. This obviously was pretty bad.
That's us punching above that neckline.
Yeah. But so, so right now I've got like the 7 and the 21 EMA, those to me, those are just so easy to use on a say a 4-hour interval or a daily interval, really, if you want to keep things simple. But let's just go 4-hour. This little tool, again, super handy. Right now it's still telling me to buy. I don't listen to it all the time. It's just, it's useful to see, and I can make this bigger for you. But you see that we're already appearing to be in not great territory. So even though it says buy, I'm not really feeling it. Yeah, I we'll see in about 2 hours what is in store for volatility, because I do feel confident that there's going to be quite a bit of it this weekend. Right now could just be, again, scaring people out to shoot up overnight, and then we have a crazy Saturday and then a massive sell-off Sunday. It's felt kind of wild for the past several weeks, I'd say. I mean, any agree or disagree on that?
I'm letting you do your own analysis like you did me, so that we can have our different perspectives. Because I believe someone told us confusing, and I realized that if I just did my presentation and you did yours, if we had different perspectives, then they could take those different takes and see what they see and be prepared for the different directions things can go.
Sure, because maybe some people might resonate with someone else differently, right, or whatnot.
There's parts of the market you trade that I do not, and vice versa.
Yeah. Now the other thing is, like we're talking Bitcoin, right, and Ethereum, which are very critical, of course, but that's not my focus, really. Like my focus is on Fantom, like all day long. It is an L1 that is scaling, is completely scalable, is cheap, and is secure. And this is where I think there is some serious manipulation going on, because nothing but good news has come. I mean, it's up very nice, but nothing but incredible news has come out for Fantom, and yet it's still at $1.26. So I see Fantom as this coiled spring ready to just like take off, especially with their NFT gaming and Rarity Manifested, and Arshan's imminent launch, and then the utility of Tarot, Spell. I go on and on. So to think that you're late at $1.26, me personally, is like, whoa, no, we're just getting started.
I think you're probably right. I've risked off a little bit, so that if we do have a bad weekend, I can add back in at a more cost advantage price. But I'm still in pretty heavy on the pools because I know that if I stop receiving that intake of money, and by the way, I have an update on that for you. Remember our video last night?
If you don't get liquidated and you hold the same amount of tokens and keep yield farming, you don't have faith in the project. That's what you're saying, right? Is you're going to end up better. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because you'll have more of it as it goes down, because when there's a lot of chaos, that's when I make the most fees. You know, I make the most fees when there's chaos.
Oh, yeah, tons of trading, right?
Trade, but if someone else is comfortable trading it and I'm market making with these pools, then I'm making money and I'm happy. Even if I own less in USD, I have more of the tokens after the moves are done. And it's made me a better hodler. But just a small update. Taro is absolutely kicking it for me. And I'm not going to show the exact numbers. I apologize. But let's just say for a second there that I have a third more in the Fantom Taro farm than I do in Ice Farm. But I've made about 3.5 times as much Taro. And they said we'd have to reauthorize farming after this update that went in the last couple hours. I don't see that necessity here. I haven't had to click that.
Yeah, we need to go and check out their Discord, or they have a pretty active Discord. And for anybody also who is trying to get into DeFi and crypto, Discord is where it's at, like with every protocol. There is Telegram and there's Reddit, but like if you want alpha and you're trying to find research, Discord. Taro has a very active and engaged group, and they're always sharing updates. So I'll probably hop in there right after this to figure out, do we have to do anything? Because last I knew, we needed to.
And I have to say, even before their announced changes, even though they're pulling back on some pools where you don't get as much percent
of the emissions,
I still was able to find pools that have high percentages. I'm still farming away. Oh my goodness! I just refreshed my screen. Wow, that was a very good night I had.
Yeah, and
I had a very good night.
I've been so bullish on this. This is good to see. This is a leader in the Fantom ecosystem.
My market cap Spirit made a ton over on Taro. Sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead. Spirit, I think is right in that category of just a gem that, I mean, it's the sushi swap, the Uniswap of Fantom, right? And you're looking at 12 cents right now. A market cap of $14 million. Like, what's the market cap of Uniswap? 12 billion. So that's literally like 100 times it, basically, right? Spirit Swap is 100 times as useful. So what's the disconnect?
Okay, I have new numbers for you. Apparently, if you're in your farms, refresh your screens. I apologize about my earlier numbers. Ice
did you just check?
Yeah, I refreshed it and I was blown away. So I made 28% less in my Ice Fantom pool as I did on my Fantom Taro pool, but understand I have half as much in my Fantom Ice.
Okay, yeah.
So I made 28% less with half the money. So my Fantom Ice did really well.
Yield farming. You're talking an absolute level versus,
Yeah, and my leverage, checking my leverage pools, stuff that was making 800% or making 450 and 600%. So I am seeing that their promise.
Those numbers just sound crazy, by the way, don't they? I mean, when you to people who maybe are like, "What are you talking about?" It's like,
literally making on Fantom Taro, Fantom Spirit, literally making 363% with like a 5x leverage, making 1% a day.
Yeah, whereas you're right, and that's why it's like I think it's almost in a way that is maybe actually hurting adoption because people find it unbelievable.
I found you unbelievable until I was here. and working with it and realizing it's not
true.
It's
Actually,
not chilling yield farming. It's like actively
you
checking it every few hours and fixing it to get these kind of percentages.
you gotta
You
be
can't
on
work a
top of your
full-time job while
game.
you do this. It won't work.
No, it's like if you want to be a full-time trader and combine that with yield farmer, I think it's a very nice synergy. But yeah, you can't. It's not like putting money in a bank account and forgetting about it, but it's 100 times as rewarding. So it's probably worth it. You know.
Yeah.
But sorry, I think I stopped sharing my screen? I just wanted to point out that Uniswap has a market cap of 100. Is that 100 times or 1,000 times? 12 billion divided by 12 million, or 30.
Did you say 12 billion divided by 1 million?
12. Just for easy sake of numbers, I think let's do
12 billion by 1 million.
No, by 12 million. Because I think theirs was like 13.7 million, but Uniswap is 12 billion, 13 billion. Is it 100? Yeah, it's 100 times. Let me just think about that quickly. 12?
I feel like you're saying different numbers, so I have no idea.
No, it's approximately a little less than 100x Uniswap's market cap.
But our transactions are higher than the entire Ethereum blockchain. It's because people are willing to use it. And if you're using something,
people don't. That's what people don't. They're not. It's like they're not privy to what. Like you got to wake up. Like, there are more transactions occurring on Fantom than Ethereum, and there's people talking about like Cardano, like smart contracts. It's just like, oh my goodness, I just want to, like, you got to understand, you're just trade the market you've got, right? There is already a winning solution. And if you want 100x, go to a place where you can trade that's valued at 100x less, that is way more useful than the one that exists that's worth 12 billion. You know, or you follow my logic there? It's like, eventually it's, it seems inevitable to me. You know, of course it could be wrong, but
holding Ethereum is kind of like having a blue chip stock. Holding Fantom is kind of like having that smaller company that has a lot more potential. And I think we just lost. Are you back, Weston?
No, I'm back. I was just, I wasn't sure if when I stopped sharing my screen, my camera seems to have.
Yeah, your camera's gone fuzzy, but it might be saving some bandwidth. I don't know. It's okay.
Okay. Either way,
we hear you great, so we get your ideas.
Okay, good. That is what is important. And I think you were saying about the utility, right, of Fantom, or what were you?
Yeah. So I've said it before. I don't want to repeat myself too much. A lot of people have called Litecoin the silver. That's not. It's just another proof of work. Okay. Ethereum is more like the silver because it's like the commodity that's getting used, because silver is part precious, part commodity, right? And that's a good description of Ethereum. And if that's that, then maybe Fantom is that undiscovered, what's something else valuable that shot up a lot recently?
Uranium,
platinum,
palladium.
Yeah, some other rare thing that has shot up in usefulness, except that Fantom isn't worth $16.
Layer 1 EVM.
It's worth $1, and it has a tremendous future. I know we're starting to feel like total Fantom shills. It's just we made a ton, and I'm
a Fantom maxi by far now.
But I mean, try it, use it. You don't have to go 600%, 800% leveraged. You can do 90%, 100% unleveraged, and I'm still not making up numbers.
Yeah, no, I mean, seriously. And if you have questions, come join us in the Crypto Cave. Like, you know, that's what we're building. We're building. We've been working like crazy because we're working on quite a few things right now. But the main priority is to build the world's finest community. You know, well moderated. We've now got three moderators in addition to Trey Nichols and I, to help with the growth that we're anticipating. Potentially a fourth one very shortly. So we're super excited about that. I think we're going to have them on to chat about kind of their backstories and why they're interested in crypto trading, but also more than that, decentralization, Web3, what it's all about, and what can be accomplished through all this stuff that we're talking about. Because it's not just making money, it is, but it's about empowering so many more people and lifting people out of poverty and making the healthcare system better, and all these things that a transparent, immutable ledger allow you to do. So that's what we're all about. And we've been just tearing it up in terms of gains, because this Fantom ecosystem is crushing everything in terms of utility. So in DeFi, that is. Well, now NFTs too, actually. Sorry, but it's got a bright future.
Necessary. You're good. You don't have to apologize for making a bunch of money. It's up to them to whether to experience it and possibly lose all their money, because we're not financial advisors.
Right, and that's the other thing. There's always risk. There's always risk, no matter what. No matter who you're talking, and right. Like,
how many times did we get liquidated before we learned how the bans work on leverage deal farming?
I think twice.
Yeah.
Like I kept making a good call, and I was right.
And there's a few times I put stuff into a pool and then couldn't find it. So I wasn't getting farming. And I was like, Weston, it's gone. He's like, no, it's not gone. I'm like, Weston, it's gone. I can't find it.
So you got to know what you got to know what you're doing. You got to pay attention. Is the point?
I collected the fees the whole time. I just didn't get the farming rewards as well. I did all right.
I'm saying me. I was talking about me, I guess.
Yeah, I was talking about me at the same time. We're so selfish. I'm kidding.
Well, right, but I got liquidated, and I'm like, wait, did I actually pick the wrong direction? And then I was like, no, I got that trade right. And then I didn't realize there were bans with the way the unique leverage farming works, but now I do, and I haven't been liquidated since. So it's about monitoring and understanding what you're doing. So another point is well, I can't tell you what to do, but it's probably wise to not trade with assets you can't afford to lose, because
yes, that's absolutely critical. We have a few questions that I didn't see in the YouTube chat because we're live in like 5 places. Chef Dan wishes good afternoon. He's
good afternoon to you.
We're doing great. Michael Post asks, when do you think the SEC will provide some guidance on their stance around crypto?
It is an evolution.
Let me put it this way. Gensler, I watched a bunch of those interviews. Gensler,
I did talk about this already, but I don't know if you heard me.
Earlier this video, was I concentrating that much on the back end of the video?
I think you were really looking at the chart. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No, but say what you were going to say, because this is important. It's very. I know what you're going to say.
I feel like there's literally centers in front of Gensler, and Gensler's holding his paper and he's shaking. Don't know if he's old or infirm, and I don't want to be critical about that, but I think he was nervous. I'd be nervous too to stand in front of them and say almost nothing.
Just you think there are powers
almost
that
everything
that
to security, and lending stable coins is a security too. I'm like, banks, when they lend their customers company, they could be a private company, not be a security. And you're trying to tell me that a stable coin lend is a security now? Yeah, right. That's saying that if you do leverage trading in stocks, that is a security because you borrowed stable coin to do it.
Right. No, of course.
And he's like, oh, they're not actually DAOs. They're not actually DEXs. They really are a security too. And I'm like, other than that statement, almost everything else he said was nonsense. He gave no clarity. If he can stand in front of the senators and say nothing of use most of the time, I think we have no clarity. And he was accused of, when people come to you, you guys then sue them. So if you build a crypto and you come to SEC, you're telling them to sue you instead of being like, hey,
it's true.
It's like out to not get into trouble, and now we're getting sued. SEC, thanks. That's exactly what we want. People that report to you, they get sued. Thank you.
Yeah, it's like, we come to try to follow the rules, and instead you sue us. Okay.
Yep.
That's a confusing sign. right?
The senators were on him about it. There's a few senators who were more pro Gensler point of view, but wow.
So, but I was going to ask you now. Do you think that Gary Gensler may have one or several people that are behind the scenes that are kind of forcing him to take a certain stance, though?
I like what Crypto Casey said. To answer your question early, I'm sorry. Crypto Casey said, well, that sounds staged. That senator and that Gensler have gotten together and planned out that discussion.
I think that's where I'm going with this, right?
Yeah.
Now, whether or not that is like exactly staged, but you know, are there powers that be that maybe are forcing his hand? Because do you know anything about?
It feels like he's
Gary
in alignment
Gensler's
with
background?
Well, yeah, he taught blockchain, and he was supposed to be positive on crypto, and
do you know where he taught?
The first part was true, but the second part is not. He's not positive on crypto.
There's a higher education institution in Massachusetts called the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. It's where Michael Saylor also attended college. Gary Gensler taught there about blockchain. So I don't know. You got to let that sink in. He knows what's going on. He knows the enabling power of it. I don't think you'd want to be a professor and teach about it if you didn't really believe in it either. So,
yeah, I don't know. His actions are saying something.
His actions are not in alignment with that. No, but that's why I'm saying, well, is there something else to the story here that we don't know about? And to me, right now, the answer would be yes. Who knows? Maybe he has changed of heart, right? But clearly, I mean, okay, if I'm going to be a professor and teach about, I'm interested in finance or biochemistry or crypto, and then now I'm in a regulatory position, I would want to further enhance that if I see the positive impacts it can have on the world, right? It just seems like a normal response, I guess, or a normal evolution.
And for the most part, not to get too deeply into politics, but for the most part, we will talk politics a little bit about crypto. Senator
just when it applies to crypto,
seemed to be much more balanced, much more pro crypto view. Crypto Casey on an interview picked up something, and I want to thank Hawk for sending me that article or that video. But Crypto Casey found something very negative in his speech that I didn't quite pick up on. But for the most part, I felt that he was very much fighting for crypto, at least in comparison to Gary Gensler.
Wait, who?
Senator Toomey. His remarks felt very much in defense of innovation. Other senators as well. But there was one thing Crypto Casey didn't like what he said. I'm going to have to watch it again to see if I can pick up on that nuance. I didn't catch it.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Both parties felt more for us.
I must have missed that as well. So yeah, we'll have to look into that in addition to the tarot thing. But so we covered kind of the big two, the big boys, Bitcoin, Ethereum, right? Volatility probably ahead. Join, the Crypto Cave. We have a 7-day free trial if you're interested in any of this. We talked about DeFi. We talked about NFTs, Fantom. Keep it on your radar. And then there's a lot happening. There's going to be a lot happening over the next month. If we zoom out and look at the world economy too, with what's happening in China right now with their major real estate firm basically, I don't know, going under, it could have ripple effects. Probably be saved, but that could destroy banks, which could be, there could be very, very dire consequences from that now. And that'll affect commodities, it'll affect equities, real estate, bonds, and then probably crypto. But if there's one asset class that can distance itself, I would say it is crypto. That's where I'd want my assets, but that's just, again, my personal opinion.
Okay. So I think we have a Curve in the room with us. You've been showing that picture of Curve for a while. Is that because when they joined and got useful along with Link on Scream and in Spirit and Spooky Pools, I believe both, that
I just love
pumped?
Curve. Yeah.
That's the fundamentals.
I mean, if you do enough research, you start to put so for me in trading Nichols, we live and breathe this all day long, right? And I mean, you're more, I think, into the technical analysis, which is some people you could spend all day in your life doing that, right? I'm like half and half. I like doing fundamental research, and I've drawn these connections between Curve and Yearn and Fantom, and just then to see them be integrated and then working with Scream, it's just like, oh my gosh, like, and already loving the way Curve set up their vote escrowed DAO, where you get V curve, and that's what Spirit Swap did, and why I'm such a bullish on Spirit Swap, because they've got essentially the same model that Curve has done, except on a blockchain that costs fractions of a penny, right? And Curve is still a market cap of $1 billion, and it's like the most useful liquidity protocol that exists. So it's like people just don't really understand it. Their TVL is 14 billion right now. Wow,
billion with a B.
Yeah, so it's pretty crazy. How am I feeling about Curve? Very good. I always feel good about Curve. But yeah,
and I have strong feelings about Link too. So when Curve outpaced Link, I
do you still
wrong?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just mean short term this week. Of course, they've done a lot of amazing things over this last year. I've probably been investing in them longer than the last year, but Link, as far as a short term trade, I chose it over Curve just when Curve went more ballistic than Link. I can't win them all.
No, you can't.
Link is
but I think you did pretty well on that.
Hopefully,
you did pretty well on that, right?
I did, and then I held too long as far as short term. But it's tempting when it's yield farming, because like I'm still getting fees.
Exactly.
I might just have to buy more and average down a little.
In crypto, for anybody who's not familiar with, when we say DeFi, decentralized finance, in traditional finance, or TradFi, as the crypto folks call it, there's market makers, right, that will make a market whenever someone wants to buy or sell, and they get a fee for doing that. In decentralized finance, you are able to do that yourself, no matter how much capital you have available. If you have, they're single-sided in some places, but usually it's an LP pair. So you have two each token, you provide it up, and then people trade on it, and you get a cut of the fees. And so what Trading Nichols is talking about is, as volume is going round and round, he's still collecting fees on that. Not a bad thing to get.
And please remember, when he first pointed out Curve and Link to me, I'd ignored it. And then I checked back the next day, and he's like, yeah, it's been 100%. I told you last night. And I was like, oh, I missed it. Even though he told me, right? We talk all the time. That's part of the problem. Can't remember everything we say to each other. But it stayed 100% for days before people started to put in on it, because they needed more of it, because people had interest in being able to borrow it. And then it was 58% for a couple more days, and now it's like 12.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, maybe we could wrap up on this note then, because this is a good topic, I think. Again, if you are interested in any of this stuff we're talking about, crypto trading, Web3, decentralization, join us in the Crypto Cave. It's a Discord community, so if you understand Discord and like how powerful that is, it's a great place to be. You can sign up without even putting in your credit card for your free trial if you want. It's very easy, and if you need help, reach out to us. But I wanted to wrap up on the point you just made. Crypto is very time sensitive. Okay, so make sure to subscribe if this is helpful to you. Hit the bell icon. And for some trades, it's so time sensitive that you need like a second to do it, right? Where there's bot arbitrage involved and whatnot. But I've noticed, and I talked to you about this, I want to say about 2 weeks ago, I realized that on big fundamental events, it seems to take 2 to 3 days actually before people realize like, oh, this is actually a ginormous positive.
Like partnerships that people believe in, partnerships that the community's reaction is less than stellar, may not do very much for the price of those two projects. But when
in this case, I mean,
people are excited about it on both sides, it can be incredible.
Yeah, and I guess I'm going back to this one right here because, you know, right away, let's see, where was it? It was announced. I forget when it was announced, but probably right here, right? So around here. But we're looking at a price of what? I mean, let's just say in this range of 230, 230. What did it be? 243. You know, for sure by this point. And you're looking at some solid gains just by integrating on well, not just by, they've got a lot going on, Curve does, but that's a big part of it. So the point I'm making is if you're part of a community of people around the world who are on top of this and sharing this information, trying to empower each other, you're going to be one of those people who's likely aware of that alpha that is critical. You need an edge in trading. You're not going to make it, to be blunt, I guess. You really do. It's not easy, and you can get that with the right people, but you got to have an edge. So that was my point.
Okay, that's a great thing to wrap up on. I noticed our videos that are over an hour get less rewatch, so we better cut ourselves off before.
How long have we been talking?
Less than an hour. So this is a good time to wrap up. I fully sustain your ideas about, the pump can be very strong on fundamentals and it can be a long-term thing. It's usually about a week effect, but it can take a few days to get in. So when it's a big fundamental partnership, if you're a day or two into the window, there's still time to make money more likely on a strong partnership. Check the communities, do your research, and see the communities are excited and talking about the partnership. Little things like that.
And then be ready for the next month or two to be wild, I guess, is what I'd leave you at too. So tighten up your risk management procedures. Hopefully you have those in place already, but tighten them up if not, and or if so, and we will be back with some more fresh content. I know we're gonna we just have a lot going on. We've got some gaming stuff to share on the Rarity Manifested side, and then we want to get that member call that we had posted too. So we'll be back soon. Thank you for tuning in, and cheers.
And one more thing, we've been forgetting.
Oh, I guess not. I guess
I've been a YouTuber a few years longer, and I can't believe I didn't bring it up sooner. After we fade away, not during this video, but on anyone rewatching, there's going to be a picture of Weston's face somewhere here or over where he is, and you can click on it and subscribe. Be sure to like before you leave if you haven't already. And there's going to be another video up above us that's going to be like the video that YouTube thinks you like best on our channel.
Oh, is that why?
AI knows you. Check it out.
We keep getting shown to a lot because we're trying to do what we're saying we're trying to do, and I think YouTube can detect that or something.
Yes.
So it keeps sending. So yeah, like that. All those little things help. What Trading Nichols is talking about.
But if you forget all that, just join the Crypto Cave and get that alpha information to give you better opportunities.
You can do that too. Do all the above.
All right. Great save.
Okay. Cheers. We will see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.